Welcome back to DriveWire Radio.
Yo, what's going on? You got Carter, you got Crawford, you got Natasha in the house tonight.
Natasha, welcome to the DriveWire Radio host guest seat. We're the hosts. You're the guest, I should say. I messed it up. I crashed the car into the wall.
I mean, I could pretend to be the host.
Take it away.
Hi, guys.
Yo, I got you. So this is Natasha Gorey. This is the show where we help artists find ways to actually communicate on their art, how to take to the next level. There's too many ways, and I would love to talk about this with you. There's way too many ways online for an artist to start to generate some traction, to at least get something going, that I genuinely believe there are no excuses now. And so once you have talent, I can't help you with talent. But the next step is often so unclear to people that I believe that unclarity stops them. They don't know what to do next.
It's the biggest speed bump they can't get over.
Right? Like, if you're actually talented at any art, visual art, design, painting, music, whatever.
Dude, even poems, man. Even
you're
writing,
going to have to get it out there.
Yep.
You're going to have to get known for that. You're going to have to develop some credibility in it. And if your talent is there, it will spread.
You got to work towards it. You know, you got to keep watering the grass for it to grow.
And we have a really cool guest because, do you have any musical talent?
Unfortunately, no.
Are you particularly artistic in any way?
I really wish I were.
I love that answer.
But
I'm actually happy that your answer was no on it.
No, in a sense.
Because it shows that someone who doesn't necessarily have the artist talent can still stay in the industry.
To be, so good at another part of the industry, you know? I mean, just because the artist part of it is just that one small little chunk.
So why the
PR
music business for you?
Yes.
That's my first question. Why that if you don't have the talent?
So from a very young age, I was always a huge fan of a lot of bands, like very, very passionate. And I always wanted to learn how to play music, but I never got the chance. So the only way I could contribute to the music industry, even though I still had a passion, but I couldn't play, was to get involved in some sort of way. And getting into the music industry is kind of how I decided to do that. Because I still get to be involved and, work with some of my favorite bands.
You get to be involved directly with your favorite bands as well.
Exactly.
It's like you're helping them.
Exactly, and it's really, really cool. That's a big dream, and it's great that I'm so grateful to be in the industry.
Okay, have you been, starstruck by any? The way you said it, I was watching your face, and you had a big
a lot of
smile.
memories almost reflecting the head as she said.
So is there one that comes to mind in particular?
That I was working with, no. But my favorite band, the singer, his name is Bill Cowlitz. I met him a few years ago at a meet and greet for one of their shows. And I remember he had asked me, he's like, hey, how are you? And I couldn't even look him in the eye. I was like, I'm good, how are you? And that's all I could say to him. But it was surreal, honestly.
Yeah.
I kind of blank on it. I don't even fully remember. But yeah, that was a really cool experience.
Yeah. That's awesome. So you got to meet someone that you really care about. So I want to talk about, you had mass communications at Carleton U. It's a very interesting thing to have studied. Was there a reason, or did you just kind of dartboard it?
So when I was in high school, I was in the band and choir, and we took a big trip to Toronto one year to perform at some schools, and we also toured Much Music at CTV.
From New Brunswick?
Yeah.
That's really far.
Very cool
That's
trip.
really far.
Especially because the Much Music part, that's just like...
Exactly. So cool.
I miss a real...
I know. I miss MOD. Every single night at 5 o'clock, because it was 5 o'clock our time, I would sit down and I would watch.
Yeah.
I loved MOD. I would vote every day.
Every day. Well, the people's votes matters, really.
Exactly. So finally we got to tour it. I remember the receptionist gave us the tour, and she said that she had taken communications at Aurelia. And I was like, oh, okay, is this how I get into this?
This is how I could get in.
She was telling us some cool stories about Snoop Dogg, and I was like, interesting. So that's kind of why I ended up going to communications, because I knew I wanted to do something in the entertainment business, although at that time I was like, I have no idea what the music business even is. But yeah, so it was a weird way. It always kind of pointed to what I'm doing now.
Cool.
Very cool.
And then after that, you ended up at Humber, right? You did music business, so you started to specialize.
Yes.
I'm wondering, Was there any distinct advantage of going to like mass communications before music? I think that was a smart move.
Like, would have helped a lot.
It did. Like, I really understood the media side of it really well. And a lot of, like, the mass communication tools, like social media, digital marketing, and kind of how that stuff works on a bigger level. So, yeah, that was definitely an advantage. And also the marketing that we learn is really important. So that helped out for sure.
Really, really cool. And like, I want to study, honestly, mass communication. I read about it. I was
It's
like,
so
damn,
important.
that's really smart. And
Well,
then you have
yeah.
leverage, right?
Yeah.
Which led to, sorry if I'm getting too advanced, guys. I don't mean
So
to
we're
call it
working
leverage,
we're working
of course.
down the chain.
Right,
here,
I'm just
you
I
gotta
want to get
progress.
because you've landed it. You're now the public relations coordinator for Looters. So before we go any further, what is Looters?
Yeah,
Like, tell everyone what that actually is.
I don't know what Looters is.
So Looters is this really cool public relations company.
I'm sorry.
firm. That's
I don't
okay.
mean to cut you off.
I got it because there's people.
We send these things.
No, I know. I'm
We
filling.
send
I
these
know.
things.
Look, I know what it is. I know what it is. I'm filling the role for the people that are listening that
Okay,
don't know.
okay.
Like,
That's
I just
what you're
worded
doing.
it differently,
All right,
so it's
fair
like.
enough.
So I'm not like.
I'm sorry
just
to
not
cut
like,
you off. I'm so
hey,
sorry.
for the people that don't know, I'll be like, oh, I don't know. Explain to me. God,
Okay.
Come on, we ruined the
I
whole
get you.
natural
I'm
flow.
sorry.
of it.
I'm sorry. It's my bad.
I know what it is.
ruined
It's-
it.
I did. So
Explain
what is
explain it to the
Looters?
people who don't know, unless they're Googling it right now, because we've wasted quite a bit of time.
I'm sorry.
And when the time you could be explaining
Okay, yeah.
it.
What is
No.
Looters? Tell me.
So Looters is a PR firm based here in Toronto, and it's really cool because we work with a lot of punk and metal artists, and we also do branding, promotion, marketing strategy. Yeah.
Kind
It's-
of do the outreach and trying to help get the people to where they are
Exactly.
to
Run
out
by-
everywhere.
Her name is Lutz, right? Sarah Lutz.
Sarah Lutz,
Is
yeah.
that Lutz? Okay, sorry,
Like-
Sarah, if you're listening. I apologize for getting your name. And I was reading some of the reviews, so I really did go through it. I'm sure you read it. I'm just giving you a hard time on it.
No, yeah.
It said like that particularly Sarah is like just a machine of a workhorse of just someone who continually goes, you know? Is that
Just
yeah?
to sleep or like.
I don't know. I do not know how she does all she does. She is incredible. She does it all. I mean, we do a lot of label servicing for a few labels as well. So she's working on the distribution side, and she's working
Nice.
DSP, which is digital service provider, Spotify, and she does it all. And on top of the publicity and kind of teaching me how to, really get into it.
How to do it, yeah. Like,
Yeah, that's really cool.
She's incredible. She started out, I believe, as a booking agent at Feldman as well. So she really knows what she's doing.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's almost like she's also like she's got at this peak position that she's teaching you how to do it as well. So then you could just be that role when she's gone.
Exactly.
That's
By the
phenomenal.
way, Sarah, I know you can't see, but Natasha has a huge smile
Huge
on your
smile,
face
yeah.
when Andrew mentioned your name. So she obviously likes you very much. What's
I
it
do, this
like?
is true.
What's it like to learn from someone who has so much going for
It's
them?
incredible and so valuable, and I'm really glad that I get the opportunity to learn from her, because she is just kick butt, and she's a
You can
woman
say
in the
kick ass.
industry.
It's
You say
okay.
kick ass,
Okay.
yeah.
Kick-ass, and she's a woman in the industry, and that means a lot as well. And she's stayed there for many, many years. So you've got to have
Cool.
some grit in order to stay in the industry for that long.
That's for real.
Absolutely,
You
yeah.
absolutely have to. And word of mouth. A lot of I've read again in the reviews. It was, hey, this person sent me there. This person sent me there. I think that's really good on Sarah's part to do that. I want to press you though, because I don't like letting these things go by.
Oh.
Can you think of a couple things that she's actually like sorted out that you're like, oh, like that makes a lot of sense?
Almost kind of like moments of she's just like
Take
so
your time.
many.
Takeaway,
There's
yeah.
so many.
Okay, so just pick a small one.
Out of a
little
hat,
tidbit.
boom,
Maybe
best
something
one.
that if you were an artist could actually help you. What? I don't know.
I mean, just
Yeah.
like help them realize. I mean,
How to juggle so many things.
Okay.
I think that's
There's
a
a
big
good
thing. And
one.
time management and doing a little bit of it all, whether that's social media and public, the actual publicity, and how to do it professionally and in the right way, and yeah.
Cool.
So
Was
it's
there anything in particular for how to do? Let's just stick with one of those because that's a lot.
yeah, there's a lot on that board.
How do you juggle so many things? Because that is a major part for an artist. Is there's a lot of stuff to do. It's not just playing your music.
Yeah.
Musical
Actually, 'cause it
instrument.
is just like a list. We got social media, then we also have our PR, like our public image, and then we also have our shows, and we also have our websites and everything. But as you start looking at those, there's
Any
there's
good
a
advice
lot.
on that?
Yeah.
You know what? Sarah actually gave me a book.
Oh.
And this is kind
Plug
of what
it.
helped me.
Plug it.
It's by David Allen, and it's called Stress-Free Productivity.
Stress-free productivity.
Stress-free productivity.
And it's an audiobook, you say.
It's an audiobook.
Well, there's
yeah.
not even any excuse for people not to go check it out now. It's like it's being read to you
exactly,
people.
Exactly. And it's a huge valuable tool. I mean, even, scheduling everything and, going through every single week and making sure you're getting rid of, the non-important things and, just organization and all that kind of stuff. So
all those
that
things
was
that
huge
kind of
help.
end up kind of
Yeah.
like helping your skills progress and all those above
Exactly.
listed things.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that's something too that, especially as an artist, when you're frantic, like your mind is just like going a million gajillion places at once, to have someone on your team like that, whether it's Sarah or Natasha or whoever, like keeping you on schedule and this is what's next, and no, that's not important, put that down, go do this.
Go do this. Yeah. You're wasting your time with that right now. Focus on this.
Exactly.
I love that. Okay.
Take a break.
We're going to go to the first break. We got I Missed Out by Hockey Dad coming on. We also have Playing with Fire by Nikki's Wives, who we were, I believe, introduced to because of you.
Yeah,
Nikki's
Nikki's
Wives.
Wives, they're incredible. I've worked with them a little bit before in the radio world as well. And yeah, I absolutely love those guys. They're super talented, down to earth, and yeah.
For a 3-piece, they blow me away.
They
It's
do.
Absolutely
Every
incredible.
single time they go on stage, you're blown away.
Absolutely.
I mean, they put on a kick-ass live show.
You definitely can't look away. There's something about it that you just want to watch.
drawn.
I really
Exactly.
mean it. Yeah, I'm just like, oh, I don't know why. Like everything's
I don't
so
wanna miss a moment of the
simple,
show
all
almost.
of the pieces, but I just want to be engaged in it when they're on.
Definitely.
I mean it. Okay, going to break, come back, catch us soon. DriveWire, CFRE, Mississauga campus. Natasha Gorey. It's going to be
Talk
kick-ass.
to you soon.
Shout out to Hockey Dad.
Shout out Hockey Dad's Australian rock.
Who-
I'd
yeah,
call it
who
a
is
rock
it?
band right
Who
there.
is it?
Who is
Now that I've heard
Hockey
them, I
Dads?
gotta know who
Yes.
they are.
You got to tell us because
So
we're playing them
Hockey
because
Dad
you.
are they're a duo from Australia, and they got their name from a Simpsons episode. They're not
That's awesome.
Canadian like it seems, but they're really cool. They play some really cool music. They've got a new single, I Missed Out. Their new album is coming up soon, so watch out for that.
How do you find stuff like that?
How did you find out 2 Australian dudes?
So it kind of depends. Sometimes we get bands that come to us, or whether that's labels or managers. And in this case, we actually had the managers come to us
Nice.
through word of mouth, and we got a chance to work with them, and they're just amazing. So, yeah.
And they produce really good music, so
They
I mean,
do,
they've
yeah.
gonna
I'm cool with
can't
that.
wait to hear more from Hockey Dads. in the
Cool with
future.
that. So a big part, I want to start getting into how to, because when we have guests who are actually particularly not musical or visual artists or anything like that, but you're still in the industry,
Like
that
deep.
means there are other hidden skills that you obviously have or you wouldn't be in the industry. And I love that because no one thinks about those because you can't see them. So one of them, or a couple that we talked to off air, was actually like booking interviews on tours or just booking them in general. How do you even start
How do
doing
you
something
contact
like that?
these people?
How do you start doing it?
Yeah.
So I think the best thing to start is get a really, really good pitch for yourself.
Kind of like an elevator pitch.
Exactly.
You know?
And don't throw any crap in that's not true. Like, really be real, but hype yourself up a little bit and make sure you get a really good one and just start sending it to press. I mean, you might not get the huge magazines in the beginning, but I mean, go look for whatever kind of music you're into. There's press for that. So, contact them, reach out to the editors if you're trying to do it on your own. And, if you get a PR firm, they do that for you, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, it's interesting.
It's a good
I
way to get
mean,
started.
it's good. It's like if you think about even just I guess in the back like the late '90s days with the skateboarders. That's kind of Tony Hawk. That's what they did. They
Exactly.
reached out to those amateur magazines to
Yep.
get kind of just acknowledged. So yeah, to reach out to the people. Kind of is just as simple as that. How do you have any tips on like finding those information to reach those people at? Is information to reach those booking agents? Is it harder to find for some individuals? What's required to get to that information?
So it really depends on the outlet. Sometimes if you go on their websites, like you'll find an email address for the
Like a
editor.
booking agent or something like that?
Yeah, or booking agent or, whoever you're trying to contact. But then also a lot of the time I find that they'll have one of those like contact forms. So usually they'll have that on there. And if not, you might find it by asking around or, getting out and, to somewhere they might be, whether that's a networking event or and get a chance to meet them and give them your info.
You just go to a live show. It's just that whole person-to-person, face-to-face kind of thing that we'd be talking about in the break. The face-to-face matters so much when you're kind of in that whole marketing business and trying to connect with other people.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, as far as a lot of people are concerned now, the emphasis is really on social media, but like we were saying in the break, that
disconnects us. It's a social media tool, but it's not a really social tool almost.
Yeah, and I can know about you from social media perhaps easier, but I don't think I'm going to fall in love with you on social media.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I agree. Actually, one of the things we studied in school was the whole thing that people believe, social media is, the way to do things, but really it's just a tool. So you really gotta use it to your advantage, but it's not the be and end all.
True. You're not going to get famous just because just from your social media account or anything like that. That's interesting.
What are some good ways that an independent artist or person or someone with a message could actually use social media? Like, how to use it well?
Yeah.
Honestly, it's tagging as many people as you can, getting involved in conversations, whether that's going on, a band that's similar to you or a band you're a fan of, and start tagging, replying to people in the comments and saying, hey, check out my band. I know it sounds a little bit, like
corny, but it works.
But you never know, right? It does work,
yeah.
and it's getting yourself out there and getting people to see you, and whether that's replying to people, in your scene, if there's a scene associated with your band, get replying to those fans or follow them back. I believe that's how water parks. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them, but they're on Hopeless Records.
I love going to water parks, but I've never heard of the band. Interesting.
I'll
have to check them out.
They're
Yeah,
really great. But that's actually what they used to do. They used to get out there. They would send fans those DMs like, "Hey, check out my band." And
check our water band
They're
out,
doing really well. They've got a huge fan base now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't seen those posts on Instagram. Cruising Instagram on see those really famous pages, and you just see somebody just plugging themselves like, "Hey guys, if you got a minute, check out my music.
Exactly.
Why not? And somebody will click it. Somebody will check it out, and if you're lucky, you're going to get a new fan, and that's simple.
Two things that I've loved that I've seen, like one of them is people giving away ideas. So, this is Carter with XYZ band, and this is how we get our dirty, raunchy, bass sound. And you just give that away. And people are like, holy crap, that's a cool bass sound. Now I know how to make it. Let me go hear it in their song. Mm-hmm. And now you've given something and helped someone, but also now they have gained something from you, right? And the second thing I love to see is that, like those little tiny in between the band moments,
it's like the brotherly family moments almost.
Yeah, like you catch each other eating spaghetti the same way, or what what I mean though? Yeah. Because the little quirk of the band, you're like, oh, that's my people see that and they're like, oh, I know a little dirty secret about them now. They feel like they're in on it.
Shout out to Data Life on the first one. They gave out a free plug-in, little like a banana head thing that they use in their songs to get their sound. Gave it out for free to their listeners. So I
love that,
it's
man.
It's free. People love free things.
And it could be free to supply too.
Absolutely, yeah. If it's just a
little download.
It's a little download. You just host it on your website. If you got a website, boom.
You ever seen ingenious stuff like that? Have you ever?
I have. I believe the Dirty Nil, Luke, the singer of the Dirty Nil. He does a lot of. They're called tone tips. I think he posts them every week on Instagram and Facebook.
His weekly tone tip?
Yeah, weekly tone tips. Sometimes they're really
tone
funny.
tips.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah,
that sound.
You guys like that sound in that song? Here's an example. Wow, you want to hear how I get it? This is my settings.
That's really cool. What kind of results has he gotten?
They do really well. He gets a lot of views, and they're hilarious.
You guys got a little comical aspect too?
Sometimes they're really funny, and they're not really him giving a tip, but they're just him being hilarious.
Nice.
So that's great, like throwing shirts out windows to buy merch, and just things like that. And
that's a great idea.
It's great. Comedy, I think that goes far. That goes a long way.
I agree with that. Making people laugh.
Making people laugh is never not bad. I've made a lot of friends at party. He's made a lot of friends at party.
Exactly.
Everybody in this room, we're all pretty funny. I like to think we all got a lot of friends,
Exactly.
I don't know about Dom, but
Oh man, shots fired.
Shots fired. I love him.
So if I was gonna go on tour, if I'm gonna go on tour, listen, I'm hiring you. I'm going on tour from freaking PEI to Vancouver all the way over to Vancouver.
Vancouver, boom, cross country.
Right?
How do we do it?
Well, yeah. Like, teach me.
Where do we start?
So the first thing would be, if you don't have a booking agent, would be to get, send messages to the promoters. And again, come up with that pitch. Try to sell them. Get on a bill with your friends. Maybe you have friends that are playing in bands.
You'd be an opener almost.
Exactly. Try to get on with them. And maybe if you don't necessarily have the money, maybe you can get a sponsorship from local shops. Music shops are a good place to look. Or even set yourself up some workshops, like at universities or, to help with a lesson, because they'll pay you for that. And then it's a reason to go out. And I think that comes back to a good pitch for yourself is a good thing to have. And
just kind of being able to sell yourself and then deliver on that.
Exactly.
You've mentioned a pitch a lot of times. I imagine that, like, I do sales, right?
Yep.
But a lot of pitches can be very long and noisy and not a lot gets said.
Yeah.
So what goes into a good pitch for an artist?
That's a great question.
I think you got to come up with like 2 or 3 priority points for yourself.
Like the most important point about yourself?
Most important stuff, the most current stuff. Don't throw out a video from, 5 years ago.
Bro, this is me playing a Jimi Hendrix song in 2012. You're like,
Bah,
it's
bah,
yeah, it's like that.
But they're going to look at that and they're going to say, okay, but what are you doing now?
What are you doing
right?
now? Yeah.
So,
What's relevant now?
Yeah, exactly. It's what's relevant. What are you doing right now? Why are we promoting you, or why are we putting on the bill if you haven't done anything since 2012? So
True.
I think it's important.
I mean, another thing that I would suggest really quickly is like develop a 30-second to 1-minute story.
Elevator pitch, yeah.
Yeah.
Elevator pitch, yeah.
Like, I would even just be cautious because a lot of people have weird connections to language. And as soon as you say pitch, an artist just checks out. They don't give a shit.
They don't want to be sold on your pitch.
But if you tell them, look,
It's a story, maybe.
tell a story. Like,
Yeah.
if you could write a story about yourself in 3 sentences, what would it be? And
Exactly.
like, that's a hell of a stumper of a question. But when you have that story and it's palpable, like it's a good story,
sold every time.
You're getting that gig.
Yep.
Who else do you know as a band? Think of it. Who has a story? Name one. I can only name a couple.
I say right off the top of my mind, there's a couple, but I mean, like,
Very few.
Very few.
It puts
Yeah.
you right. Now you're in the top 10% just because you have a freaking story about your band.
Yep.
Look, we're going here. We're doing this. Tearing the house
this
down.
is why we're doing it, and like,
So
Exactly.
that's what AC/DC did. They threw crazy parties, and then people were like, "Holy shit, we get to tear down the curtains when we go to AC/DC bands," and they just paid like the damages, kind of.
we'll cover the damage. You
That's
wrecked
what
the
they
venue.
did.
It's just like, I like this band. Okay,
That's a quirk. Tell a story.
That's true. Rest in peace, Bob.
We'll show up and throw a hell of a party, but you won't
With
have
some-
much of a venue when we're done. Good on break. 4 more minutes. 4 more minutes.
I mean,
Here we
that could backfire because there are very disrespectful people nowadays that would take those opportunities and absolutely.
I mean, yeah,
ruin
I'm
them.
definitely
So,
not going to use that as an actual stick.
not
for
a
my
good
band. It's
sell.
Tearing up.
But I mean, it's got the idea.
got-
We've given you the message.
It's got
Now
the idea.
dig around, people.
Yeah,
Find
figured
it,
out.
you know what I mean?
I don't think a lot of venues be chomping at the bit to let the person whose stick is
Probably
destroying the
not.
venue.
Bro, we got pyro cannons. You like pyro cannons? Nah, we can't do that.
Unless
Oh,
they
okay.
like got really good insurance, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Really
They
good.
figured it out, and then they knew you were, but they didn't know you were going to do it,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
just saying, don't do insurance fraud. Okay.
Have you had any crazy like experiences when you're trying to get to bands and they've just not been able to kind of contact because of their certain situations, or have you ever been put into a crazy situation when trying to contact a band, working with a band, maybe
Not particularly, but there was a band that I worked with before I was at Looters, Palais Royale, and I'm a huge fan as well, so I like to bring them up. But they actually, the singer got pulled off stage in the UK.
Oh.
Hassled by security because he likes to hang from the rafters and walk into the venue, and he's crazy. He's insane.
Oh.
He climbs.
Oh, shit.
At the Opera House, he was hanging off the balconies, and he jumped up there all on his
What?
own. Like, he's this crazy guy. But yeah, he was actually tackled by the ground by security, and because the venue, they didn't want to be liable.
Well, yeah, you fall.
Yeah, but
I don't want somebody to die in my
exactly.
venue,
So it's very different.
especially the singer.
Exactly.
But I'm not going to lie. I would go see.
That'd be crazy.
Like, you know what? If I knew he was going to be climbing on stuff.
Yeah.
They're
I would
so
go
good
see that.
live, right? It kind of
Yeah.
brings you back to that, 70s punk kind of vibe, and you don't see that a lot anymore, right?
I say one of the big sellers on the Blink-182 tour was when Blink or Travis had that spinning, rotating, like airborne drum. Like, what?
It's so cool.
Yeah.
And I think, just getting crazy like that and having that sick live show puts you in front of so many people, right? More than...
I also like to think you could maybe get those viral videos. You know, those videos of fans just taking a crazy moment, and it's like fans are seeing it like, whoa, that's
exactly. And
nuts.
it's just being there and watching it, and you're like, oh my gosh, this guy's all the way
insane.
like 80 feet in the air right now.
What the
like,
heck's going on?
Yeah, because
you have to almost do something unexpected.
Exactly.
Sorry to cut you off.
Well, 21 Pilots did that actually this last year. I saw them do with a tour, and they kind of did that. The singer was like, he went up like this platform raised, and then he went up, but then the lights went off. And then the other side of the stadium, another platform was up, and then he appeared on the other platform. So it was clearly two different people, but that person was singing, and then the lights went off, and then this person came over here, and then they were singing, and it's like, but that was what? That was the same guy. How is that possible? But that got me talking about that show to other people. Like, dude, that show was it was crazy.
It messes you up.
If you go see them, you're going to have a cool story. And then, again, it's that word of mouth.
Yeah,
definitely.
I love that.
Marketing.
And we were talking about that off air as well. You were saying specifically about face-to-face. Can you allow, because that was a really good point that you made, and it was made off air, but I really want to just deliberately bring it out because it's such a good point. So what was your point about face-to-face?
Of course. So I think a lot of bands, a problem now, and a lot of artists, they focus a lot on social media. You can be talented, you can have social media, but to get that fan base, I think you have to be face-to-face with your fans. Even if you're playing to 5 people, it's really important that after the show, you go and meet those 5 people.
Go thank them almost.
Yeah, because again, they're going to feel so connected to you, like they know you, like you're friends, and that's really important. If a 5-year-old, is there, sit and talk to them, they're...
That kid's going to talk about you.
That kid's going to remember that, right? Yeah. Or an 11-year-old or 13 or 25,
and so will
whatever.
Their parents.
Exactly.
And their parents, yeah.
Exactly. It's a huge thing, too. And, again, back to Palais Royale, they've built themselves a huge fan base because that's what they did. Still now, I remember I went to see the Warped Tour 2 years ago, and they had this massive crowd. But in the hot sun, they still stayed there for 4 hours, meeting every single person in that crowd for free. And they made everyone feel like, oh my gosh, they gave everyone a compliment. And you don't think that'll go a long way, but it really, really does. Totally. They'll remember that. They'll come back. They'll say, oh my gosh, they were so nice.
And it doesn't cost you anything.
It doesn't cost you anything. I mean, it might cost a little bit of time, but I think it pays off in the end. And it does a lot more than social media will.
Yeah, that's true.
And I would
hanging out
say
on live doesn't do anything for engagement.
Yeah.
I get a little giddy when Doug Benson or somebody will shoot me like, oh hey Andrew, you're like, I'm one of the Andrews. That could be me, bro. You know what I mean? That means something. But
oh my gosh, they liked my post,
when I'm in person though, it means a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, once when you get to a certain level, there's no way you can
you can't actually
reply to everybody.
You can't hit everybody.
But if you start out doing that, it'll go a long way. And if you can, when you get a chance, you're
gonna make somebody's day.
Big time. And then what? Now I know you because I met you and I'm one of your fans. And then every time you do make a post on social media,
I'm right there.
Now I'm checking it out and I'm liking it and
first fan, first comment. Hey, bro, you remember me?
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
it means so much. Though.
You almost drive the online by being offline.
Exactly.
I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, drive the offline by being offline.
Drive the online while being offline. Okay, I'm going to write that down during this next break here. We're going to it.
Wrap it up, break
we
time.
got No Plans by Dune Rats. We also got Tapping Out by Issues. I believe Issues was the one that we were led to by Looters, right? We got an interview coming up with them. It's going to be pretty sweet.
Be crazy.
Check out some of their tunes right here on the break, CFRE.
DriveWire Radio. We are back. Welcome back. DriveWire Radio.
One of my favorite things about
CFRE.
doing this is there's like a countdown
pressure,
before,
man. There's pressure on
and
that
it's
countdown.
like most people are really, really good and quiet in the room. Nah, not at all with DriveWire. We're loud until the 1 or the 2.
I want you to hear our conversation. I want you to hear that I don't like the 2015 Corvette or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I want you to know my opinions of things.
Okay.
It's all open book here.
I got a question for you. So I love this question. It's my favorite one. It's like the only question that it doesn't matter who's sitting in the chair. I'm asking this question on here. It's my favorite one. So aside from the talent itself, so for a musician, aside from musical talent, if you're an artist, aside from your visual talent, whatever, aside from the art, what is the biggest skill or skill set or talent that somebody could harness to serve themselves or serve others?
Of course. So, you know what? I thought a lot about this, and I believe it's.
Did you know this question was coming?
No.
Okay.
But it's, learning how the industry works, because it's so convoluted. It's the knowledge, right? Because you've got 10 million different companies doing 10 million different things for you. And I know before I even took the course at Humber, I didn't know 90% of it, because a lot of it goes on behind the
scenes.
Behind the scenes, exactly. So I think it's arming yourself with that knowledge and really knowing who does what and when and why and
what kind. Can you give some ideas? What do you mean? Like, are you saying the knowledge of who does what for you? Because that was something I didn't know of.
Yeah,
like,
oh
my God, I don't have to do all these things. Like, there's a booking agent and they can do that. Or there's, I didn't know that. Is that what you mean? Do you mean general layout? Do you, what do you?
So I mean, how there are 3 different PROs or 5 different companies that, shell out PROs.
What's a PRO?
Yeah, what is a
PRO?
PRO?
So PRO is
it's like a personal representative organization or something like that?
No,
So
don't confuse us. Don't confuse
Performing
us.
Arts Royalty Organization. So they actually pay you. So for instance, there's SoCan, which does the songwriting side. So each time you play a song live or it's played on the radio or a commercial, you get a little royalty for that. And so it's really important for artists to sign up for that, because when you play a show, you submit your guests, you submit your set list, and you get paid for each song that you wrote.
Nice.
Then there's the recording side of that called Resound in Canada. SoCan is the songwriter side. And then there's 5 other companies that can pay you out PROs. And then there's, the entire world has a separate PRO. So Germany has different ones. The U.S. has a different one.
And that would be their job to know those different.
So I'm going to put that through a decoder for a second, because that was a lot. Yeah. So I believe what you're saying, and please correct me if I'm wrong. In order to get paid, there are people who actually will monitor the airwaves, okay? Now, if you didn't catch that, there are 2 different rights to every single recording that ever went on. There was who actually created the art behind this recording, and then there's the actual who owns the recording itself. Yeah. Because Crawford and I could both make a song. Doesn't matter what song, we do both some Fat Lip by Sum 41, and Crawford does a recording and I do a recording. They're going to sound different. It's the same song. So in that case, Sum 41, having written the song, would get paid the writing credits. Yeah. And then whether it was Crawford's version or my version of the song on air, that would indicate who got paid the royalties for the recording itself. So,
and somebody gets paid from both.
Somebody gets paid from both. Yeah. And sometimes in the case of bigger artists, Joe Bonamassa and John Mayer, et cetera, it's the artist who gets paid for both. Yep. Sometimes the recording studio gets the record label, the record label gets the recording and whatnot. So that's a huge thing to learn.
Huge thing for people to understand.
Really important.
Any artist, regardless of how big you are, sign up for SoCan and register your music on there, as well as for Resound. It's really important, because then you get paid for everything. Every time your song airs, if you play it live, regardless. Even if you play with somebody else, and another band, they might submit it for you. There could be money waiting for you, so go sign them up, register your songs, things like that. The radio world, for example, there's people behind the scenes working your tracks to radio. DJs for the most part don't just pick up a song and go, oh hey, I'm gonna play it. There's somebody behind it. So just things like that necessarily I didn't know before I took my music business at Humber. So it's just things like that, learning that, okay, this is how it works. There's so many different companies and so many different things going on.
Yeah.
For artists, it would be overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's obscenely overwhelming.
Yeah.
I'm extremely happy for one to have gone to a music school where they taught me that. They just point, because even it's if you're walking around in a dark room looking for something without a flashlight, it's gonna be pretty difficult
hard,
to find.
Hard.
But as soon as someone flicks on the light, it's oh my gosh, look at it's right here. It's right here beside me. So I love that. It's a really good point. Another one I might even add to that of myself is all the grants that are available.
Exactly.
Oh, money.
That's a big one.
Money.
That's a big one. People who don't know that, even with DriveWire, we're applying for a couple grants right now because that would be able to get the publicity and push this thing larger and further. And some other people might not even know that those exist.
Exactly.
Right?
That's free money for them to just get that music out there, or for them to get in to record that music, or for them to publish that music. It's 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 just knock on wood. It's just kind of it's a door
Really
somebody's
smart.
not opening.
Good answer.
You know?
Exactly,
Good answer.
yeah, and
I
I
get
think-
I get a lot of answers to that question of what other skills could someone have, and industry knowledge is not one that I've gotten before. So you gave a very good, unique
That
answer.
helps
to
a
that.
lot if people are listening.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Get some industry knowledge. I don't know where. I went to Metalworks. It was expensive, but it was a good school.
You
Very good school.
learn things when you go to
Pay for it though.
You pay for
Well,
you pay
you do.
to learn and
Exactly, and I think like there are also some free organizations like CMI, which is the Canadian Music Incubator. You might be able to get some resources there. Music Canada or Music Ontario.
Or honestly, just start a podcast and start inviting guests and
Invite
ask them
random
questions
people.
on air, and they'll
Yeah.
tell you just about
There you
everything
go.
I found.
Yeah, ask around. You never, yeah, exactly.
That's funny. So, does a band's genre matter? Does that matter? Honestly, can I be any band? Can I be a Norwegian death punk?
Well, I think
that'd be awesome.
It's crazy. I'll show you some. It's
Urban,
crazy.
urban, urban, you know, like heavy.
I
Genre.
like it. You should record that.
I might,
I
I
quite
might.
enjoy it. Create your own genre. That would be great.
I mean,
But genre, why does it matter so much? Like, what does it matter? Does it? Or is it
Well,
important?
I think, the day and age we're in now is so many bands are, flipping between genres. One day they might pitch someone and say they're pop, and the next day they're rock, or their music is neither one. And I think it's really important that when you're pitching industry, and this might change in the next 10 years, because a lot of bands now are doing it
Yeah,
that way.
multi-genre almost.
Right? But for now, it's really important when you're pitching like a publicity firm or, a radio promotion company or, anything, or going to radio yourself, making sure that you have a genre specific, because they're based in formats.
So like know what you are. Essentially.
Know
Well,
what you are, exactly.
Let's say the radio format thing is I think something that I think a lot of people don't ever consider or remember.
Yeah.
That it's like you don't get played on a pop station if you're alternative rock with a little bit of hip hop mixed in with pop and alternative. You're like, that's double alternative. Like what?
Exactly. And it's really hard, too, as a publicist to pitch someone that's, 3 or 4 different genres. Like, it's really difficult, right?
so imagine someone. I'm going hypothetical here. All right? I
Hypothetically
don't mean to
speaking.
get like too that 70s show in the
Right.
basement or whatever. But imagine someone whose genre, like they're creating their art, right? And their sound, like a lot of times for me specifically, people say that sounds bluesy, but it sounds country. You know
Right.
what I mean?
It's a blues country.
Maybe that's not exactly the best example because it does sound like there is a lot of blues overlapped in
country,
country.
yeah.
But with a band that's just got that sound that's not quite on the line, like how do they deal with that? What do you do?
So I think, it depends. Like, for example, in punk, for example, you've got pop punk. And that's genuinely considered like a punk genre.
Yeah.
And I feel like bluesy, rock and blues are kind of close. And
Yeah.
I think that's something that is, you can kind of get away with. But if you're doing, I don't know, country pop,
Country
I
EDM
guess-
pop.
yeah,
Whoa,
that-
here we go.
that might be an issue.
I think I might listen to it. Now I'm starting to throw random ideas out. I might.
that would kind of be hard to get across who you are as an artist, and whoever's working for you. Because somebody, for example, who's running a metal publication, probably isn't going to appreciate someone pitching them on a pop metal act, right?
It's hard. That's a hard sell. It's a hard
Yeah,
sell.
so
I'm
it's a
usually
bit
a
of a
death
hard
metal kind of
sell.
guy. Pop metal is a hard one to get behind.
That would probably not.
It wouldn't.
no,
Yeah, it'd be a
right?
hard. It would be a hard. Even creating that music, would it even sound good? I think that's a big playing factor
Yeah.
as well as when you try and mix too many genres together.
I see
Are
what you're
you too
saying
many
because
genres,
your
or-
genre, like, it's almost like that's going to indicate where you fit
Where you go.
in. Like
Yeah,
you're
where you
not
fit
you're
in
not
and-
going to take, some screamo death metal to a kids show and say, "Hey, I want to play this for your audience." Like it just, you know what I mean?
It's
like
not gonna get the opening bit.
I'm
for Elmo
using-
or
Kids are
whatever.
I'm
really
using a
enjoying
That's
metal, right?
a tongue-in-cheek example, but it's kind of
It's true.
depicting
It's
like
true.
don't go. Although, okay, devil's advocate. Although, I went to a couple shows where I was expecting heavy, and most of them were, and one of them wasn't, and I actually really appreciated the break.
The
not
break,
not
yeah.
necessarily like, oh, my ears are so barraged of noise, but it was just
A
such a
genre change
different
maybe,
thing
or-
that I was like, wow, I can appreciate this a lot right now.
I do think there are some instances where it works. For example, like, I don't know, who's a rap artist that's really big in, like, the punk scene? For example,
Machine Gun Kelly? Yeah.
Yeah, he's huge in that Warped Tour scene, even though he's rap, right?
Yeah.
There are weird little caveats where
There are.
sometimes I don't know how that happens.
Just finding that little slit where you
It's
fit in.
finding that, yeah, and now
Is that
you know,
like a Lil Nas X with Old Town Road going country?
Yeah, it
Very
worked for him though,
possible.
right?
Kinda
It
what you're
worked-
saying?
It worked for him phenomenally. Blew his
Yeah, good for
ass
you.
up into that fire, and he's boom. He's
Really
huge
did.
now.
Exactly. That's what I mean. It could change. Like you're seeing these artists now that are breaking through and doing that, and I think it will. But
Just in time.
Yeah.
It just takes time. It just takes.
the industry hasn't caught up to it yet.
I would like
Yes.
to see, I just want to put this out there. I would really like to see a very skilled guitarist with like a very lyrical rapper make a good song. Like a rock tone with rap lyrics. I have been waiting for that for a long time, and I'm going to be instantly converted when it
should, like- we
happens.
should,
I'm going
like-
to hear it and be like, that's
We should
exactly what I
reach
mean.
out to some people and be like, "Hey, we
That would
got,
be- I think it would be
we
pretty
could do
cool.
it.
I think
We
that
could
could
do
take
it.
off.
It would be
Did you
huge.
see-
Is that kind of where it's at?
Yeah.
Tech Nine? Does Tech
Okay,
Nine
I'm
do?
sorry.
We're getting
The
Tech Nine
producers
does
in the room
rock?
are telling me that I'm an idiot and that it already exists.
I mean,
and
Tech
need to-
Nine does a lot of rap, but I guess he does some rock too. Then done.
Okay.
We gotta
okay.
get Tech. We gotta get some in our music.
So
then.
what's coming up with you? Like, what are you doing?
It's
Like,
January, second week of January. What's happening this year?
So right now, I'm getting into planning, finishing up the planning for the first quarter of the year. We've got a lot of really cool albums coming out and a lot of really great artists coming on board, a lot of really awesome tours, which you can check our website out.
yeah,
Plug
plug
it.
it, plug
After
it, put it in, put it
Yeah.
in.
So we've got a lot.
What's the website? Yeah, say it.
Looters.cc.
Looters.cc. What's the deal with the CC thing? What is
Yeah,
that?
what is the CC thing?
I believe it was because the rest were taken, and that's why it's CC.
Oh, looters.ca is
yeah.
gone?
CA, com,
Yeah.
AU, net, org.
I think, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's why.
It's
No
CC.
problem.
Looters.cc.
And why would someone want to work with you? Like, not like, why are you better? I mean, just like, what do they go to you for, honestly? Like, just put it out there.
You know what? We work with a lot of, we work all projects, whether it's pop or country, but we're really good at the metal and punk side of stuff. We work with a lot of those artists.
Nice.
But we welcome all projects. We've worked lots of different genres, and also from labels and managers or artists themselves. Yeah, so just you can contact us through our website or on our social media.
I say social medias
Yeah.
as well,
Yep.
Facebook.
Yeah, DMs. It'll be me. I'm usually on it. So, yeah.
Just come say
Checking
hello.
that
You know?
out. Exactly. Come say hi.
I love that. Yeah, and maybe there's a fit, maybe it's not, and you point them in the direction for what they find to
Yeah.
me. So
If you got questions, you
I
answers,
got
maybe.
time
Yeah,
for
of
like
course.
kind of one more question.
question.
Do you have one burning in your head? I got one preloaded, but
No,
if you have a good one, I'll let you take it.
No, I can't. I can't just. No, I don't have a good one off the top of my mind.
Okay, so again, this show is really about what to do after you're talented. I can't help you with your talent, but
You gotta
if
get there.
But if you have talent, like, look, man,
do you
practice
do?
makes perfect. Actually, let me correct that. Perfect practice makes perfect. But once you
Yep.
take care of that, like, it's doable. You want to position yourself, and I've said this before. The artist, before they reach out to anybody, wants to be in a reasonably good position before they're actually reaching out to anybody. Like,
Yep.
you know what I mean? You want to have something going for you. It's
You
not
want to
just
have a
I'm
catalog or material, or
I'm-
like, you know what I mean?
hey,
like
look,
things
I'm
ready.
running over here. I could go a lot faster if you were with me. Like, that has to be the conversation. Not, I'm standing at the starting line. Help me get going, right?
Yeah, push me to run,
So
yeah.
with that said, are you guys turning away artists who don't have shit going for them? Like, are you just like, sorry, man, you got to
You
get a
dashing out
little more
no's?
of a...
I might not be the best one to answer that.
Okay.
But
Let me
That's
let me
fair,
phrase
that's
it the
fair.
other way, because that's
Yeah.
like, I don't want you to have to talk on behalf of looters.
That's true.
Let's say it like this. What are you guys looking for to before you're like, oh man, I really want to get this person on my
Like, what are you looking
I
for
wanna
to
work
get
with
it, to
them.
give a band a yes?
honestly,
That's a much
it
better way to
depends.
say
If you're really good at what you're doing, and back to that, practice makes perfect. Spend, whether it takes you 2 years or a couple months in your basement and practice. If you're really good and you have that really good material, I mean, it just depends. Depends on the artist. Depends on what they're looking for, because you always have to be upfront about managing expectations and making sure that it's achievable on both ends. And also, I think a big thing too for artists is that once you do bring those people on, it doesn't mean that your work's done. You still have to get out there. You still have to work really hard at what you're doing and getting people out to those shows, because it doesn't matter who you've got behind you if you're not doing the work. You know,
It's
you
not gonna
have-
matter at
yeah,
all.
it's a 50-50. You know, you're partners
Yep.
in this, and that's how it works. It's like a business partner.
Totally.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
absolutely.
that's one of those little tidbits that's really opened my eyes. Like, there are artists who, even at Metalworks before graduation, there were people who before me immediately got picked up, and they were like, okay, here's some people that we know down in Nashville. I really believe in your music. I really believe in what you're doing. And at first I was like, well, why not me, right? And then I'm realistically like, eventually the emotion fades out and you look at it and you're like, well, this person like
They do.
has like 30 prepared songs already. They already know how to play them all. They're singing them consistently. They've got gigs going for them. They're not nervous when they're on stage. Like all these things that that are hard to see. They're behind the show.
It's almost like your inside things you can't see.
Yeah, like this person showed up at music school with all these things
things
done
already done.
before music school. Do you know what I mean? And that I was like, oh yeah, okay, I get that now. I'm not jaded about it. I'm not upset. But damn.
Motivated.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
It's like never get upset about the things that have been done. Just
Yeah.
motivate yourself to get to that position.
Exactly. Yeah.
Taking it to break.
Read it out, man.
Third and final break. Okay, well, the honors. Okay, well, we're going to take it to break. We got Super Whatever. That's the band name. Super Whatever with Better. And then we're going to go to Glorious Sons to end it off with Kill the Lights, which is a phenomenal song.
Check us out in a bit. I'm going to go over what we just learned from
Yes, give
Natasha
us the
Gorey here on
recap.
CFRE DriveWire Radio. Drinking some coffee, eating a sour key. Don't worry about me. Catch us after the break. Yo, what's up? Welcome back. Welcome back. DriveWire Radio. CFRE.
There we go.
There we go.
Hey, shout out to Peter.
Peter, Seven Finger Pete. We heard you got
Seven-Finger
a crazy accident with the getting frozen. Crawford's got 9
Yeah,
fingers.
we were
so
talking about the whole why
that.
have 9 and like the incidents
Tasha's
that
like, you
rose
gotta be
and
my
yeah.
dad out on the East Coast. He's got only 7.
Like,
And then
together we have 16, and
and she was like-
that's
There you
game
go.
changer. Like,
She
I have
was-
17. I've got 16. Or
she's like, yeah, he like froze to death, and we were all like just worried that it
So
was gonna end there.
is he dead? Like he lost 3
Anyways,
fingers when he
Pete,
froze.
that's
No.
a hell of a
Shut up,
crazy
Pete.
story.
You're a trooper, Pete.
Opposite stories for our dads. My dad was in an explosion, so
Oh,
he
crazy.
almost
Oh
got
my
burned
God.
to
Yeah,
death.
he almost burned to death.
He has all his fingers, but he has scars all the way up his arms because of that. So, what's up, Pete? Shout out, you guys. You Crawford
Shout out,
with the-
Raj. You know,
Yeah,
We need to
everyone
meet,
needs to
have
get
a
together.
drink.
That
I
sounds
think
nice.
we
That sounds nice.
need a boys' night.
All right.
Exactly.
So this is
Recap time.
This is the recap. This is the part of the show that guests usually don't know is coming, where I tell them what I wrote down about
Everything.
them when they were talking.
And some of it is purposefully wrong, so they correct us.
Yeah, it's meant to be engaged. So cut me off. You have
Ah.
to cut me off. If you don't, I'll be upset. Okay. So
have to. It's rules.
I like that you just knew what you wanted to do. You have
Mm.
don't take this the wrong way because this is like a dirty word in the industry, but I don't mean it like that. You're kind of like a groupie a little bit,
Groupie.
right? Like
Groupie.
you love your bands,
I
like
do,
you know what I
yeah.
mean, and you stayed in with that,
In
like
the
you
scene.
stayed with the passion. And I hate when people say follow your passion because I think that's a load of hooey. But I really like that you stayed excited about what you're doing. And I think that's what people are getting at. You did it really well. So I love that. Okay, stay involved even on the side. This is proof that you do not need to have necessarily artist skill to be in the art industry.
Yeah, you don't have to be able to draw or create music to be in the industry.
I think a lot of people miss that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people miss that.
Try and focus on that talent that they think they need to have.
That's it. And there are huge number of skills that are directly applicable. We cover them on the show. That's why you would listen 5 p.m. on
Every
Wednesdays.
Wednesday.
Okay, the next sentence I have is just fangirl hard. I think that I've covered that. I'm leaving it. Okay, go deep, not wide. Go deep, not wide. Go deep, not wide. What does that mean?
One more time. Go on. Let's.
Hey, listen, go deep, not wide. Listen,
let's-
look. What it is. So once you do a good show, spend the time to develop an actual connection, even if it's literally for like 2 minutes with them.
minutes,
I'm
talking
not joking. Like actually 2 minutes of time just chatting with someone while you're wrapping
Or
up your
shaking hands?
Like shake their hand, take a picture with them, get on their Instagram page. Like do what you can to develop a deepness to the relationship in the immediacy of your face to face.
I mean, I forgot to mention this when we were talking about that, but that's what Steve-O does as well. He meets with every single person who wants to meet with him after the show. He'll sign your ass if you want. He'll sign your pictures. He'll take pictures. You know what I mean? He'll do everything to engage. It's a joke, but he has actually
Did you get him to sign your ass?
I'm waiting on it. I want his name, but I want him to be like your name, you know? So it's like, it's my name, but it's Steve. It's besides the point, but that matters. People love him, and they love him because of that.
Because
It's
he's
free.
developing that.
It's
And
free.
then what? It actually drives your width wider. So people will start sharing your stuff, start liking your posts, start hearting your posts because you spent the time deep.
You create like a cone,
and they help you
almost,
back.
right? Like you have the deepest people talking, and we're creating a cone.
That's it.
It's opening up.
That's it.
And you get the passionate people talking about you because they're going to go and they're going to do everything they can to, tell people about you.
That's it.
I miss the days of being able to like burn that cool CD and share it to your friends. But I mean,
Exactly.
like now we can just share those MP3 files, so it's kind of the same, but it's like different. But I
That's
mean,
it.
get that, go deep, go
I
wide.
used
That's
to
it.
make posters of my favorite bands and print them off at Carlton's library and
Really?
hang them up all over downtown Ottawa.
That's
Like,
awesome.
I just,
That was a passion.
exactly. Wanted people to know about them. So.
See, and that's what I'm saying.
That's
And
what- yeah.
probably the bands that you did that to actually knew you and took the time to talk to you. Is
Yeah.
that about right?
Well, in this case, not so much.
yeah.
But
In this
long
case, I actually got a
Okay,
letter from the
okay.
law. They said, quit putting
Cease
posters
and
up.
desist.
Like, cease and desist. Like,
That's
no.
funny.
Nothing like that.
Nothing
but no.
like that.
No,
No, no.
unfortunately, this band kind of missed the whole mark on fan, interaction. But that's
Really?
that's a
Damn.
story for
Hey,
a different
that's
day,
why
but
you're here and
That's
they're
why you're
there.
here. Yeah,
right?
they're not,
They're
right?
laws. Develop your story. I think that actually goes really well hand in hand with go deep, not wide, right? Like a story can spread so fast, and it doesn't have to be long. But
short stories.
Like, look, where you were, what you're doing now, where you're going, like that, people can catch on to that.
Did we get
People
who
can
you are? Who you are in there as well?
I mean, if you want,
Is that, I mean, it's kind of important, right? Because we want people to know who we are.
point B.
Still short story.
Develop your story.
Develop.
And then, I almost swore, tell it to everyone. Tell the story to every single person. Because look, you're going to get the people who vibe with it, or you're going to get someone who says, oh, that's kind of like this story, or you're going to get the feedback, and that's what you're going to use to make a
what
better
you're gonna
story.
use. Yep.
And then, by the way, that 1,000th person, because it will take that many, that you tell your story to is going to be someone who can totally help you, and you're going to be so good at telling your story that you're going to catch them off guard, and they're going to be like, wow, I want to help this person because you just went deep, not wide, and you told them a story quickly.
Besides, back, you're still talking to me now because I got a story and I got to tell it deep now.
So
I've been
I'm telling
it
you,
wide. I got to tell it deep.
that's it. That's
Change
it.
the game. Flip the board.
Ooh, we learned here. Is that learningception or whatever? Like we learned from ourselves?
Leonardo DiCaprio, give us a call. Learnception in the works.
Yeah, we're gonna have to trademark that. Okay. Contacting people is free.
Sending an email doesn't cost anything.
Cost jack shit.
Well, the
Doesn't
internet
cost
costs.
anything.
I mean, but
Costs
that's.
some time, but other than that, it's
Okay.
But
okay,
is your
okay.
time worth spent reaching out going to be worth that time you get back once you blow up?
absolutely 100%. Because I think, it does take a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of energy, but it's worth it because it's gonna help you in the long run.
Yeah.
Long run over short run, right?
Seriously, and look, like one thing that I think is related to this is it doesn't take money; it takes grit.
Exactly.
Money
Yeah.
is not your problem.
Money doesn't
It's
get you
actually
there.
not. Because look, if you send one really good voicemail or voice message to the right company with the right story, they are going to pick it up and run with you. And guess what? You don't have money, but they do. And if it's the right story with the right company, like do you think that if you had the right story for Tim Hortons that they could not take it totally Canada-wide in a second if they wanted to?
I think Tim Hortons bailed on Canada several years ago.
Okay, look,
but,
I'm not trying to get political about Tim Hortons. I just mean that if you had the
If
right
you had the
story
right
and you were
story.
talking to the right people, it could go somewhere.
Yeah, they would take it.
There are other people who have better capabilities than you do. Freaking contact them, man. Send a message out. It doesn't matter who you're trying to talk to. I don't care if you're trying to get a hold of Gary Vee or Joe Rogan. Like, you can totally do it.
Send it out,
In
it's
fact,
free.
we messaged Gary Vee and we got a message back
Yeah, I
from him, which is
texted
pretty
Gary
cool.
Vee, and he personally, it was like a real personalized message.
Shout out to Gary.
He
That's
sends
amazing.
a lot of spam, but I mean, it's a lot of not one was, it's good.
Social media is a tool. You want to expand on that a little bit?
Social media is the tool you can use, but it's not the be and end all. Don't focus
All
all
your
your
energy?
energy on social media because really You know, it's more important to be out there and getting people's attention than it is to be online.
I agree with that. And also generating a ridiculously kick-ass show.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not
Well,
just a bunch of songs in a row.
no,
A
have
performance.
content.
A
Yeah,
performance.
have
I really cannot emphasize that enough. I've seen a couple. The Autumn Kings is
Autumn
one that I'm
Kings
going to
was-
mention.
yeah.
They blew my freaking tree off. And it was because they did a lot more than just a bunch of songs in a row. They really shook me. And I was
They
like,
weren't just performing. They were
I
like,
fangirled.
Yeah.
In the show. I was like,
It was
this is
worthy,
really
though.
good.
It was worthy. It was
Really good,
so
man.
good.
Really good.
Definitely worthy.
Love it. Sponsorships, lessons, and workshops. So these are 3 things that you said specifically about how someone can go on tour. So you said sponsorships, lessons, and workshops. That's really smart. Okay, you're teaching me here, and I love this because a lot of times I tell people they're teaching me, but sometimes they're totally not. And I'm bringing up just points that I
bring
like.
it up, yeah.
This one taught
This
me
is actual teaching.
So I love that. I could totally take, look, man, you have a music shop you got one in every city I'm going to. I would love to have your name on this music tour.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good here. Check it out. That's awesome. But 2, that, like, look, someone else controls your sponsorship. You got to impress someone. 2 of them, if you're actually talented, you can control yourself. And I love that. Lessons and workshops.
Yeah.
So kind of the same thing. I imagine one has a slightly larger audience than a group, but like, man, I'm thinking about that. Universities, like freaking even old folks' homes, like
folks'
giving
homes,
like
yeah.
a
Yes.
workshop to old, like there are, you just expanded my like, wow, like I could do that in every single city. And now what? You're getting paid. You have food money, you have gas money, you can make it to the next one, you can have a hotel, and you could do 2 of those in your show. And does it add more to your plate? Hell
Hell yeah,
yeah.
it does.
Is it worth it? Hell yeah.
Easy
So I
yes.
love that. Thank you. I appreciate that.
If you're listening, people, go back 15 seconds, 15 minutes, almost listen to it all again.
Seriously, man.
Very lot of takeaways.
That is how we're supposed to learn. So humans learn through repetition. If there's been an episode that you've heard that you
Go back and
love,
listen to
oh
it
my
again.
gosh, they're on YouTube, they're on Spotify, like we're putting them up everywhere. These are ridiculously valuable, so take them again and learn. Like I've learned a ton from Natasha today. I will be learning a second time and a third time from her. I'm
Yep.
sure there's stuff that I've missed just writing stuff down or being oblivious or
Have
whatever.
to go back, listen to it, and recount.
Do something unexpected. I'm leaving that one there, but I really like that
Point.
point.
Generate some noise when it happens.
Freaking
you know? You
surprise
don't
me, man.
yeah.
Climb on the damn ceiling. Don't fall.
Don't fall, yeah.
But climb on the ceiling.
Or if you fall, make it crazy, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
videotape it and
Videotape
go wide
it,
with your
go wide.
social. Like
Yeah.
that's the kind of thing that you go wide with.
Exactly.
You
it's
know?
like go viral almost. It's like don't shoot to go viral, but it's like if you can get that video that can go viral, you know, you've done it.
And you drive
can
the
do it.
online by being offline. I think it's perfectly related. I love that saying. You put it in my brain. It matters.
And with going off that, one things that I think could be it matters so much by going it was going be online by being offline or being like offline by what was it?
I have just written down drive the online by being offline.
So, and what I was thinking with that is, why not have that online as well while you're offline? You know, when you're meeting people in person, have a live to your social. Be engaging with the people that aren't there while you're not there, in
Yeah.
a sense. So, I mean, like
Yeah.
you are offline, but you're engaging with that online.
If
as
you're
well.
gonna
It's
do
in
that,
meet in the
if
middle.
you're gonna do that, I gotta side with Natasha, and I think that you should definitely prioritize the people who are actually there and
For
just
sure.
let the other people watch.
They
you
can
do
just
that.
spectate almost. They just
Yeah,
feel like they're
because
being involved.
you don't want to be talking to your phone and there's a real live human.
No.
being.
So
So
don't
you gotta be
don't
careful with that.
prioritize the online.
Okay,
you know,
two last points. I'm gonna go with the second one first. Tell a consistent story. If you're gonna be a pop punk band, please be a pop punk band. You can
yeah.
have elements of your story that are different. Now I'm like, oh, like there's a character to this. But if you're gonna be a pop punk band, like totally just that's okay. Like, but be one.
If I take
Know
my
who
shirt
you
off,
are.
I should be a pop punk band, right? Like you don't take your shirt off and then, truth is you're country pop when you've been trying to wear these pop punk clothes.
I have no idea what you're talking about your shirt.
Well, it's like be the band as the band. You know, it's like if you're trying to be the pop punk band, if we
Lean
take
into
your
your
shirts
look.
off,
Lean into
like,
your look.
be everything that pop punk is. Don't just try and fill a shoe that you're not.
Yeah, and I think Natasha, she's like, look, know who you are.
Know who you are.
Label
Yeah, yeah,
yourself
yeah.
as accurately as you can. That will help you. That will help you.
Yeah,
Huge,
know
yeah.
exactly who you are and what you want. I think that's one of the things I heard, from people who have worked with The Weeknd, for example. One of the things they say about him is he knew exactly what he wanted and where he was going.
Right from the beginning.
Who he was from the beginning, and that's what sold it.
I've heard the
because-
same thing about Madonna as well,
Yeah.
actually. She always talked about, like, I'm going to be a star, get out of my way if you're not going to. So that's really cool that
That's
you said
cool.
that.
Yeah.
That is cool.
I
I
love
mean,
that.
because look at Madonna. We've been talking about her for 70 years, and you know
Exactly.
she's still kicking ass. So
That's it. That's it. And then
phenomenal.
the last piece of the puzzle was gain some damn industry knowledge. Figure
really
it out.
important, and that's for yourself. I think, you know, to arm yourself, whether, you know, who you're working with, because some people aren't the best, and it's really important to know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
And you know what the industry really, how many different people are involved. And yeah, it
And then to
helps
have
you,
those-
only helps you.
And also, a huge one is it stops you from getting pushed around too much. Like,
Exactly.
if you don't know
Yep.
that there's 2 sets of rights to every song, and you don't know that you even need rights to songs, and someone's walking off with your
Almost
recording rights,
walking
and
over you,
someone's rocking
stealing
off
your
with
money
your
and-
written right, you just did all the work for this piece of music,
Yeah.
and you
Piece of-
got
yeah.
none of the payoff on the back end. So really, I say it's a hugely
Know
good
your
point. It's
stuff.
just know your knowledge, have part of the industry, and that's that. All right, Natasha Gorey, do you have anything else to
Anything
say
else
to
to
your
leave the
audience?
people?
Tell your family you love them. Thank you for listening.
Shout out to my family and to everyone listening from my little hometown.
We got a lot of interest in this one,
is a
so
good
I know
one.
that it wasn't all family.
It-
I know that it
let's
wasn't
pretend it
all
wasn't all
family.
my
No, I
family.
know.
No, no, you got fans, girl.
We'll
You got
pretend I've got
fans.
fans.
No, that's
Shout out to the fans.
Cool. This
All
has
right,
been
this has been
DriveWire.
DriveWire, yeah.
We help you make money on your art by helping you figure out what to do next.
Make sure to check our socials: Facebook, YouTube. We're on Instagram.
We're on Spotify.
We're on Spotify now. I was just supposed to say we got our Spotify.
Are
up,
we
so
doing
check it out.
episodes as they come out also on Spotify, or just seasons once they're done? Just seasons once they're done?
episodes weekly, so-
Nice. Okay, check
All
us
right.
out on Spotify as well. Thank you for joining us, DriveWire CFRE.
We're gonna finish off today with
What do we got coming up here?
I learned from Valdi.
Okay, sweet. It's going to be
Phenomenal.
kick-ass. Catch us next week, guys. Thank you for tuning in.
DriveWire.